I see you shiver with anticipation.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
Tuesday night, Home Team Sports, the Big Alboski, Chris Vant, and we're here to talk the NFL Draft, which is this Thursday. It's always exciting. It's the beginning of the NFL season, my big man, my friend. And what can you say? I mean, right now you got the NBA playoffs are going. They're off and running. They're in the first round. A lot of surprises, a lot of stuff happening because of injuries or this, that, or the other thing. Teams that you thought were just going to run the table are kind of fading away. And then you're seeing other teams that are a little healthier maybe starting to, come up. And so we'll talk about that later when we're done talking about the NFL draft. But first and foremost, man, let me announce right here, right now, that tomorrow, folks, on this channel, on this YouTube channel, Spittin' with Spitter returns. He's been gone for several months for personal reasons, but he is back, and he's got 2 epic shows, one in the morning and one in the evening. So don't miss that. Catch Spittin' with Spitter tomorrow morning and tomorrow night. Check Spittin' with Spitter's Facebook page for the exact times because he changes them all the time. That being said, how you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. Allergies are just killing me a little bit today. But
how bad will the Jets screw up their draft picks? Jennifer, that is a question that the Eagles fans ask every damn year too, because we have Howie Roseman making our picks, and at least for the foreseeable future because he signed a 3-year extension. So, yeah, we're going to go through all that. So, last year, Chris, we made up a mock draft. I came up with one. Anthony came up with one. I believe Adrian might have 2, maybe Harry. Also, Cousin Phil. And the one that was pretty damn close to what was going on was Cousin Phil, because Cousin Phil eats, breathes, and sleeps college football and the NFL and fantasy football and betting and whatever you could think of. He loves to get in deep where you or I might only pay attention to our teams. Like I only pay attention to what the Eagles do or what they need. You only pay attention to what the Jets do or what they need. But I always find the first round of the draft, that first night, especially the first 10 picks, always interesting about where those teams go. And the Jets have 2 first-round picks in the first round in the top 10. So that's pretty cool. And Detroit is in there also with a couple. The Eagles have 2 first-round picks. The Giants have 2 first-round picks. So there's a bunch of teams that have 2 first-round picks because of trades and free agency and all that kind of cool stuff. So we're going to pop up right now, here and now. Again, that scrolling across the bottom of the screen there, don't miss Spittin' with Spitter returns tomorrow. He returns tomorrow. So Phil sent us his mock draft. Okay. So full disclosure, this is the opinion of my cousin Phil. You guys have seen him here on Home Team Sports. This is his opinion based on whatever he probably looked at Mel Kiper's draft and Todd McShay's draft and everybody and, the needs of each team. And, he probably, he did a good thorough job. So we're going to go 1 through 5, starting with the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock as we speak. And he has them taking defensive edge rusher Alden Hutchinson. Do you agree or disagree with that? That the Jaguars might do that?
It's a good possibility, but I'd go O-line if I were them. That kid from NC State, what is it, a Nugwa? I mean, he's one of the best offensive linemen I've seen come out of college in a long time. And you want to protect your quarterback. He gets hit way too many times.
Big shout-outs to Thundercat there. He says, wow, it's Chris Vant. What's up, Thundercat? All right, so he has them taking Alden Hutchinson, and I happen to know here that Mel Kiper also has him on his latest mock draft, having taken edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. So Number 2, Cousin Phil has the Detroit Lions taking a corner. Has him taking cornerback Ahmad Gardner. Now, Mel Kiper has him taking a safety, namely Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. So it's interesting that Phil went corner there versus safety. What do you think is the Lions' bigger need? I happen to agree with Phil on this, but do you think they need a corner? I mean, obviously they're both taking defensive secondary, but I think the Lions need more a corner than a safety. No.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would take Hamilton. Hamilton's the better player. This Gardner, I have him third as cornerback. I mean, they got the guy from LSU and the kid from Cincinnati. They're both better than this kid is. How is this guy ranked ahead of them? Makes no sense.
Well, he's only ranked by Phil. This is Phil's opinion. You just said there's 2 corners better than him. I know you're talking about what Stingy is one of them. Yeah,
and the kid from Cincinnati
are better corners than Gardner, but
yeah, I don't see this kid going that high.
Phil loves that. Lions need a whole new team, says Thundercat. Yeah, that is true. All right, so third, Cousin Phil has the Houston Texans taking defensive edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau, and Mel Kiper has them taking Evan Neal, the offensive tackle from Alabama. Interesting. Phil has him going defense. Mel Kiper has him going offense. So which way will they go? Offense or defense, in your opinion?
They need the best player. They will draft the best player because they need everything.
So the best player on the board. The best player on the board.
Available. Yeah.
Okay. So Jennifer says, I love Hamilton. I hope the Jets take him. Yeah. Cousin Phil has the Jets at number 4, taking safety Kyle Hamilton. Do you agree with that?
No. We just signed a safety from Seattle and paid him a bunch of money. Why are you going to draft another safety? The past how many years the Jets have drafted safety after safety after safety, 2 or 3 safeties in their whole draft. Where do they end up? Oh, on another team. Exactly. I'm tired of the safeties and the cornerbacks. I mean, it's time to get an edge rusher back. We haven't had an edge rusher in years.
So Mel Kiper has them taking that defensive end, Kayvon Thibodeau, that Phil predicted would go third. Mel Kiper has the Jets taking him.
If he's available, they will take him. They're not going to pass him up.
So, again, they're another team that'll take the best available player no matter what the position.
Yeah.
Okay. And then rounding out the top 5, Phil has the Giants taking offensive tackle Evan Neal, who Mel Kiper had Houston taking at number 3 from Alabama.
Yeah, I don't think Neal's going to be there at 5. I think he's going earlier.
Yeah, and that's what Mel Kiper's saying.
Yeah.
Phil's saying he drops to the Giants at number 5. But Mel Kiper, because Evan Neal, he has Evan Neal going number 3. He has the Giants taking Ike Ekwonu from NC State, the offensive tackle. So he does have them taking the next best offensive tackle, for what it's worth. But, Anthony said, and I remember Anthony Joseph saying, because he's a Giants fan, saying that they should go O-line with that number 5 pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough. It's what does your team need, offense or defense? That's how the top 5 is going to go.
The Giants need a lot, but offensive line, yeah. Danny Dimes was running for his life last year, so. All right, so that's the top 5. So then we'll switch to the number 6 through number 10. In the 6th pick of the draft, Cousin Phil has the Carolina Panthers taking Malik Willis, quarterback. Malik Willis, which seems to be the number. He seems to have moved up to be the number 1 quarterback this year's draft because there isn't a big crop of quarterbacks this year like years past or even next year there will be. But Malik Willis really turned some heads at the combine. I know that. Carolina needs a quarterback. I also know that. So I kind of agree with this one. You don't?
No. I think he's the second best quarterback. I think Kenny Pickett is a better pick. And
Small hands.
they've been talking to him, and it's possible that he will be picked at number 6. I don't see Willis. I see Willis as a Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
He's a prototype to Jalen Hurts. He's not going to be a great NFL quarterback. He will be a starting quarterback at some time.
He'll be serviceable.
He's not ready yet. Right now, the Carolina Panthers need somebody to step in if Sam Darnold can't do it.
Mel Kiper has the Carolina Panthers taking offensive tackle Charles Cross from Mississippi State. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Phil at number 7 has the Giants. That's Giants have two picks in the top 10, taking a defensive edge rusher, Jermaine Johnson II. Mel Kiper has them taking a corner, has them taking that Derek Stingley that we talked about before. The Giants got that pick from the Chicago Bears, by the way. Derek Stingley's from LSU. So Kiper has the Giants taking a corner, Derek Stingley from LSU, and cousin Phil has the Giants taking defensive edge rusher Jermaine Johnson II. Do you know anything about him?
Not too much. What's disturbing is they're saying that now that the number 1 pick could be Hutchinson or the kid from Georgia. And I don't even see the kid from Georgia in any of these top 7 picks.
Yeah, not even Mel Kiper's.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, yeah, we'll see. But anyway, moving on. At number 8, my boys' team, the Atlanta Falcons. Cousin Phil has them taking a wide receiver. It has them taking wide receiver Drake London at number 8. Mel Kiper has them taking a defensive edge rusher, Trayvon Walker from Georgia.
That's another team that needs just about everything. But I like Drake London. Drake London is like a Mike Evans. He's not really a superstar receiver, but in the red zone, he is deadly.
Yeah.
He's like Mike Evans. He'll get you the yards during the game, but you get in the red zone, that's the guy you're throwing the ball to.
The Falcons are going to be interesting. They're in a transition, right? They got Marcus Mariota at quarterback, trading Matt Ryan to the what was it out of the Chargers? The Colts.
Yeah,
the Colts. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting seeing Marcus Mariota in a starting role, but he's kind of a placeholder for whoever ends up being the Atlanta Falcons quarterback. I know that. Anthony Price. I thought the Giants would draft a cornerback since they're shopping Barry. Yeah. I mean, it's quite possible, but like I said, these picks, if you're just joining us, are not our pick. It's not my picks. It's not Chris's picks. These are the opinions of cousin Phil, who's on this show all the time, and I trust his opinion. But I'm comparing it to Mel Kiper, who's supposed to be the expert here. But I always laugh at Mel Kiper's picks because they're usually far from what actually ends up happening. Because you never know. Teams trade up, teams trade back.
Yeah,
there's no way he can predict that. The only thing he can predict is what the draft order is right now and what the teams need the most and who the best available player is at that position at that time. And that's probably his formula for coming up with his mock draft. So after the Falcons pick, Phil has number 9, the Seattle Seahawks taking an offensive lineman again, offensive tackle, Equinu. We mentioned him earlier, and he's in Mel Kiper's draft a lot higher. Mel Kiper had him going number 5. But the Seahawks do need offensive line too. But I mean, do we even know who's quarterbacking that team this year?
They signed Geno Smith to a 1-year deal. So, I mean, I think they're just going to wait and possibly get a quarterback in the second round.
Yeah.
Which there'll be plenty of still available guys in the second round for quarterback.
And yeah, and then comparatively, he has Mel Kiper has the Seahawks taking Malik Willis.
I don't see that either.
From quarterback. So
I think
Phil has
Matt Corral.
Carolina taking Malik Willis a lot higher than number 9 in the draft. That's 6.
I see Seattle waiting and getting Matt Corral, who's going to be the steal of the draft and probably be the best quarterback to come out of this draft.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him. That, you know, like you said, everybody's focused on Pickett and Willis. This kid might, you know, be better than both of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, New York Jets then rounding out the top 10. Phil has them taking a wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Well, you're shaking your head no already.
That's not happening.
And Mel Kiper has the Jets taking Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati, a cornerback.
If we do not trade that 10th pick out, Sauce Gardner's the pick, without a doubt. But they were talking about, Debo's still out there. They don't know exactly if they're going to try
I know
to do
they
that.
were I know they were one of the teams interested in Debo, but it might cost them one of these picks.
It might cost them a 10th pick and a possible pick next year.
Sauce to the Jets. You want Sauce? Do you want Sauce or do you want Debo?
It
can't
depends.
have
If
both.
they trade that 10th pick early, that could change our 4th pick.
Right.
There's a lot of trades going to happen in the first round. They're talking about the Panthers even trading back.
Right. So, again, these picks are based on the draft order, and Mel Kiper does the same thing. He can only go on what the draft order is as we speak. You never know, especially these teams in the first round that have 2 picks. Might trade one of them back. So, yeah, you never know. So, let's go on to picks number 11 through 15. So, he's got the Washington Commanders have the 11th pick in the draft. He has them taking Kenny Pickett at 11, quarterback. Kenny Pickett from Pitt. He, again, there isn't a big draft crop of quarterbacks this year, but he's been one of the guys that, you know, that they're talking about. So these teams that need a quarterback, I mean, would that upset Carson Wentz?
Yeah, I think
I
Carson Wentz
can't even finish that sentence.
I think he's going to have a bounce back year. He's got an amazing defense there, and I think he's going to be able to manage the game a little bit.
And some weapons and a
And
decent
some weapons.
O-line.
And he might have a chance of resurrecting his career.
He might.
Being a franchise quarterback. He's young. He's still got time.
But not if they draft another quarterback like they did.
I don't think they're drafting a quarterback.
Well,
no.
Mel
Not in this
Kiper.
draft. There's nobody that good in this draft that I would waste a top 10 pick on.
So Mel Kiper has the Commanders taking a wide receiver, Chris Olave from Ohio State.
That kid's good. He's got talent.
So, you know, comparatively, that's happening there. So we'll see where Kenny Pickett goes. I don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to go in the top 15, but we'll see. 12, Minnesota Vikings take cornerback Derek Stingley. We talked about him before. Mel Kiper has him going a lot sooner than number 12. But if he falls to the Vikings, that's a need they have. They're another one of those teams that need a lot, right?
Yeah, they definitely need cornerbacks.
Why draft a quarterback when you paid Wentz all that money? Good point. Good point. Again, Anthony, this is not me and Chris's mock draft. This is Cousin Phil's. But, you know, it is what it is. He gave it to us, so we're offering it as an opinion. It's not our opinion, but it's his, and I'm just presenting it versus so Minnesota taking Stingley, and Mel Kiper has Minnesota taking cornerback Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson. So So what it is. At least they both have him taking a corner.
Yeah.
So then number 13, the Texans have another pick in the first round, and that he has them taking offensive tackle Charles Cross, who Mel Kiper had going earlier. In this particular pick, he has him taking Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher from Florida State.
I like the kid from Florida State, that edge rusher. He's
Johnson,
really good.
you like Johnson?
Yeah, yeah.
Phil has him going higher than this. 14, he's got the Ravens taking defensive edge rusher Trayvon Walker. We talked about him earlier in Mel Kiper's draft. Mel Kiper had him going a lot sooner than that. And so in Mel's draft, he's got them taking a center, Tyler Lindenbaum from Iowa.
Yeah, if Walker's there, which I don't think he's going to be.
Right. Mel's
they're
got him
definitely
going.
scooping him up quick.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of drafts have him going top 10.
Yeah.
And for him to fall to 14 to that would be something. But he goes, I know I'm just speaking out loud. I know, man. Yo, keep it coming, man. Keep the comments coming. I love it. Just, chime in whenever you want to, especially when it's your team that's on the board. So then the 15th pick of the draft, my Philadelphia Eagles, cousin Phil, who's also an Eagles fan, has them taking a corner. And not just any corner. They got him taking Trent McDuffie. Mel Kiper has them taking Kenny Pickett. Quarterback, Kenny Pickett.
I think you might get lucky, and Olave might be sitting there waiting for you. I think with Williams from Alabama, I think he's going to go before him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Olave might be sitting there waiting for you for the Eagles, and I think you might pick him.
I don't know. I hope Mel Kiper's wrong because I don't want Kenny Pickett. I don't want the Eagles to take Kenny Pickett.
I don't think you're going quarterback. You're giving Hurts another year, and then see this next year's quarterback crops are going to be a heck of a lot better than this year's.
Yes. I like where your head's at, and I agree with it. All right, let's go to the next 5, which is 16 through 20. And that is the New Orleans Saints. That's my cousin Phil and his wife's team. And he's got the Saints taking Jameson Williams, wide receiver. Definitely a need for New Orleans. Mel Kiper has the Saints also taking a wide receiver, but having them taking Garrett Wilson, who Phil had going earlier than that. Interesting.
I mean, that's a good pick. I mean, they also might go quarterback. I mean, they need it. And if they believe in Willis and he's sitting there waiting,
I think the Saints will take either Willis or Pickett if either one is sitting at 16.
I think Willis is still going to be there at 20 for Pittsburgh, to tell you the truth.
Really? That late?
Unproven talent. You played for Liberty, I understand. How many quarterbacks since years ago come out of these weak colleges and are great quarterbacks in the NFL? You don't see it no more.
I agree, but Mel Kiper and cousin Phil both agree that both of those quarterbacks are going top 15.
I don't see either one having a great career in the NFL. Neither one.
McDuffie is good. He plays corner and safety. I like it for the Eagles. Sure, I will love it if they get him, but they won't because Howie Roseman will fuck it up. All right, so 17. He's got the Chargers taking offensive tackle Trevor Penning. Definitely a need for the Chargers offensive line to protect Justin Hebert. That definitely a need for the Chargers. They got plenty of weapons. They got a decent defense, but he was one of the, if I'm not mistaken, one of the top 5 in sacked quarterbacks in the league. So yeah, they definitely need offensive line to protect Justin Herbert. So 18, Eagles, linebacker Devin Floyd. I could not disagree more with this pick. Why? Because the Eagles never take a linebacker in the first round. They never. I'm pretty sure they never have. I think the last time they did might have been like early to mid 90s. But Devin Floyd is a great player, believe me. If he's there, I would love to have him. But the Eagles won't take a linebacker. I think Phil's wrong. Now, comparatively, Mel Kiper also has them taking a linebacker, but taking the one from Georgia, Nakobe Dean. So it's interesting that both Phil and Mel Kiper have them taking defense on this pick. I mean, taking linebackers. It's just two different linebackers.
Is there any still good O-line that will be available there? I mean, you still need more
Eagles
O-line.
don't need O-line. No, the Eagles don't need O-line. They got Kelsey back. No, they got Kelsey back. They got Jordan Mailata's pretty damn good. That Hutchinson kid's pretty damn good. That what's his name? Lance is still back. So,
as Parcells said at one time, you could never have enough offensive line.
It's true, but I'm pretty sure they're not thinking offensive line in the first round. They might take offensive line in the later rounds, but not in the first round. Not this year.
If there's a stud sitting there at offensive line still available at that pick, I think you go there.
Well, the very next pick, Cousin Phil has the Saints taking offensive lineman Zion Johnson, and he's supposed to be one of, if not the best offensive lineman in this year's draft. So he's sitting there saying that the Eagles would pass up Johnson. Johnson would still be on the board. They would get Devin Floyd instead of Johnson. You know, you're saying the Eagles would take an offensive lineman stud over the linebacker.
Did the Eagles' offensive line last year start all the games, or was there a lot of injuries?
No.
They played almost all the games.
They played almost all the games. They were relatively healthy. It's the year before that they had all the injuries.
And Jalen Hurts still ran for his life.
Well, no, it was Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz ran for his life. Carson Wentz ran for his life, and then last year, Jalen. The thing with Jalen was the offensive line was healthy, but Jalen is 1, 2, 3. If his first read's not open, he takes off.
Yeah,
he's got to break that habit. He's got to go to his second and third reads before he does anything. Instead, he wants to make something happen with his legs. And playing that way, ask Lamar Jackson, ask Russell Wilson, ask Kyler Murray. Yeah, ask Cam Newton. You don't last long in this league.
That's why I don't like Malik Willis. That's why I don't like Malik Willis.
Well, I don't think you got to worry about the Jets getting him. All right, so he's rounding out the top 20 with the Pittsburgh Steelers taking the third quarterback in this whole thing, Desmond Ritter, which you're right. If Pickett's still available, they'll take him. If Malik Willis is still available, they'll take him over this guy. But the Steelers are taking the best quarterback available when it's their turn. Unfortunately, they don't pick the number 20.
No, Ritter is easily 6 to 10 in this draft. He is not even a top 5 quarterback in this draft. I mean, he played all his years, I understand, and went out as a senior, but he is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. The kid has no talent from what I've watched. I watched all the Cincinnati games. He's not as good as advertised.
Interestingly enough, Mel Kiper has the Steelers taking him at number 20, Desmond Ritter from Cincinnati, quarterback.
Well, good luck to him. That kid is not an NFL quarterback.
Obviously, other people think differently. All right, so 21 through 25, we got the Patriots. Cousin Phil has them taking cornerback Andrew Booth Jr. Mel Kiper has them taking Jameson Williams, the wide receiver from Alabama, who's one of the best wide receivers available this year. You agree with Cuz that they'll go defense, or do you agree with Mel Kiper that they'll go offense?
I believe they'll be trading up.
The
I got a
Patriots.
feeling. I'm feeling the Patriots are going to pull something during draft day and trade up.
Belichick always does, right? Like he has some
Yep.
kind of ace up his sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what they did to get Mac Jones last year. All right, so number 22, he has the Packers taking wide receiver Chris. Is it Olave?
Yeah.
And Mel Kiper has the Packers taking Drake London, who Phil had going earlier than this. So Drake London. So either way, they're both picking wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. It's just that because Phil had London going earlier than this, he has Chris Olave going number 22.
Yeah, they're definitely going receiver. They're definitely.
Of course
going
they are.
receiver.
They lost their best damn receiver.
Well, they got 2 picks in the first round. They might be able to pick up 2 receivers, 2 good receivers, possibly.
Yeah, well, if Aaron Rodgers has anything to do with it, they'll pick receivers. Arizona Cardinals defensive edge rusher David Ojabo. Mel Kiper has the Arizona Cardinals taking Devontae Wyatt, defensive end, defensive tackle from Georgia. Interesting.
It's a lot of defense for Georgia in the first round, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, did you see their games this year? Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the most dominant defense in the history of college football. So the NFL teams are salivating over all these guys, whether it be secondary, whether it be linebackers, whether it be defensive edge rushers, they had it all. So, yeah, it's no surprise to me that a lot of these names in Phil's draft and in Mel Kiper's draft are defensive players from Georgia. So he's got the Cowboys then in the next pick, taking offensive lineman Tyler Lindenbaum. And the Cowboys, 24th pick, Mel Kiper has them taking Kenyon Green, the guard from Texas A&M. I know my cousin Dave's a big Texas A&M Aggies fan, so he would know more about Green than I would. But I did hear of Tyler Lindenbaum. Didn't Mel Kiper have him go earlier than this? But definitely a need for the Cowboys offensive line.
Yeah,
sure.
He's the best center in the draft. I think the kid gave up 1 sack in his whole career. He's definitely the best center that's on the board, but I see him going in the early second round. I don't see him going first round.
Interesting. And then rounding out the top 25, he's got the Buffalo Bills taking safety Dayton Hill. And Mel Kiper has the Buffalo Bills taking Trent McDuffie, who Phil had the Eagles take earlier from Washington. So Bills taking a safety.
Yeah, I might see a surprise here, and them going after Bryce Hall from Iowa State.
Oh, yeah?
Running back. Because they can definitely use another running back.
When was the last running back taken in the first round of the draft?
I got no idea.
You know that?
No.
Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams
was the last time. That was the 1998 or 99 draft where Donovan McNabb was taken 3rd overall by the Eagles, and Ricky Williams was taken by the Dolphins in the with the 4th pick in the draft.
Yeah, this kid's the real deal, though. This kid's going to have a great NFL career once he gets there.
So 26 through 30, the Tennessee Titans, cousin Phil has taken offensive lineman Kenyon Green. We talked about him earlier in Mel Kiper's draft. Mel Kiper has the Titans taken David Ojabo, the edge rusher from Michigan. We talked about him earlier in cousin Phil's draft. So interesting. 27, he's got the Buccaneers taking the defensive lineman. I don't know about that because, I mean, I know they need it, but I know they have a few needs there. But with Brady coming back, don't you think he's got some kind of say in that? Plus, Bruce Arians is gone, right?
Yeah, Bruce Arians is gone.
So, I mean, I don't know if they go defense there. I don't know. What does Mel have? Mel has them taken George Karlaftis, a defensive edge rusher from Purdue. So yeah, they both have him taking defense. You agree with that? That the Bucs will go defense?
Mm.
I don't know.
I think you try to give Brady another weapon.
Yeah, well, I mean,
whether it's at running back. Say, is Fournette even coming back?
Fournette's coming back. Gronk is coming back, but he lost Antonio Brown to the nut house, so he needs a wide receiver.
Okay, well, yeah, if there's another receiver still available there that can jump in for him, I mean,
I think Buccaneers will take a wide receiver, but these guys, Cousin Phil and Mel Kiper haven't taken defensive linemen. So then at 28, he's got the next defensive lineman available, Jordan Davis, going to Green Bay. It's interesting. Green Bay's got 2 picks within 5 of each other. That's pretty interesting. And Mel Kiper's got them taking a wide receiver from Penn State, Dotson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's interesting. When you get down to these lower teams, these are the teams that, got deep into the playoffs, so they got these later picks. So it's interesting to see who the Packers and the Chiefs take. Like, he's got the Chiefs taking a cornerback, Roger McCreary. Mel Kiper has the Chiefs taking Boye Mafe, an edge rusher from Minnesota. So they both got him taking defense, but Phil's got him taking a corner, and Mel Kiper's got him taking an edge rusher. So I agree that Kansas City needs defense, so that's probably where they'll go. But then they got the 30th pick right after that, so they can get back-to-back defensive guys, and you can interchange either one of these guys. You can take Karlaftis first and McCreary second, or vice versa.
Yeah, these late picks with even Green Bay or Kansas City, they can use them to trade up to get the guy they want if he's available.
Buccaneers are taking a referee, I heard. My son thinks he's funny. All right, Rodney. What's up, Rodney? How you doing? The Chargers will win the Super Bowl before the Jets will.
That's a good possibility.
Yeah. With that quarterback, sure.
Yeah.
And then in the final 2 picks, 31 and 32, he's got the AFC champion, and I'm proud to say that, Cincinnati Bengals, taking the cornerback, Kyra Lamb, and then Mel Kiper's got him taking a tight end, Trey McBride from Colorado State. Interesting. So Mel Kiper's got him taking a tight end. Cousin Phil's got him taking a corner. Which one do the Bengals need more? Don't they need an offensive lineman?
Well, they're getting a lot of offensive linemen in free agency, but they need a tight end now. You just gave him to the Jets. You gave a top 5 tight end to the Jets. The kid was top 5 in the league.
Right.
I don't know who their backup was, but who are you going to throw at tight end right now?
Good point. So maybe they do go tight end. And Mel Kiper has him taking, like I said, Trey McBride, Colorado State, tight end. And then he in the 32nd pick, he's got the Detroit Lions taking Devin Lloyd, the linebacker from Utah, where Cousin Phil has them taking a wide receiver, Treylon Burks. So, I mean, good job, Phil. Nice draft, nice mock draft. I'm sure you spent a lot of time on it because it was pretty far from Mel Kiper's. It's not like you just copied his or copied Trey, what's his name? Todd McShay's or whatever, all those guys. I always get a kick out of it, Chris, because these guys who claim to be draft experts, how are they any more of an expert than anybody that can't just do your homework, see what the teams need, see what the draft order is, see who the best available players are. Like, I could have sat down for the last 4 or 5 hours and done that, but I came home from work, I made dinner, and I sat down and I'm talking to you.
That's why they make millions of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know Mel Kiper I know Mel Kiper and Todd McShay eat, breathe, and sleep the draft. So, how much? Here's a question for you before we move on to basketball. How much do you pay attention to the later rounds? Because a lot of times I don't. Like I seem to lose interest after the first round, and then I read about who the Eagles took in the later rounds. That's kind of all I care about then.
I mean, I watch it all. I mean, I'll watch the bottom line when Sports Center comes on. I won't actually watch each guy get drafted. But, I mean, later rounds, the second, third, fourth round guys are the steals. I mean, you look at almost half the Hall of Famers. They weren't first-round draft picks.
That's true.
They were drafted in second, third, fourth, even later rounds. I mean, there's steals out there that are just sitting there that nobody knows about, ungiven talent, that once they get to the NFL and in the right position with the right team, become superstars.
Right.
Look at Dak Prescott. What was Dak Prescott, a fourth-round pick?
Third or fourth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, like Russell Wilson was a third-round pick or something like that.
I mean, these guys weren't.
What was Brady? Brady was a sixth-round pick. So
Sixth-round pick. Yep.
I get it. I don't know what it is. I kind of lose interest, after the first round. Like the first round's exciting. The commissioner comes out and he's like, he announces each one with the first pick, with the sixth pick, eighth pick, 10th pick in the NFL draft, so-and-so. It's a little bit more interesting to me watching it like that. And then when you get to the other picks, he doesn't announce every single pick. Like after he gets to, I think he does the first, 2 rounds?
I think it's just the first round, I believe he does. And then a player from the former team does either a second or a third round, which is nice to see because it's usually a Hall of Famer from that team that usually announces the pick, which is pretty exciting.
That's something new that they started too, right?
Yeah.
They didn't always do that. I don't remember.
They didn't always just do that.
So, yeah. So there's our mock draft, courtesy of Phil McDevitt. Thanks, cousin Phil, and Mel Kiper. I only had Mel Kiper's available to compare to make sure Phil wasn't way off the grid, but I thought it was pretty good. So good job, cousin Phil. If you watch this later, good job, cousin Phil. Yeah.
So we got no running backs going in the first round,
according to either one of them.
Yep.
And that's the norm.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I mean, that's
teams that really need a running back right now, and there's a couple good ones out there.
There are, but that's usually what happens in the second round. You get that's the exciting part of the second round. You usually get those top running backs taken in the second round.
Yeah, you get your running backs, you get your tight ends. That's usually a second, third round thing.
Right. And the Eagles, I know that Miles Sanders is injury prone. I don't know if they're going to do running back by committee. I wouldn't mind them taking a running back in the second round, but they won't. They won't.
I'd like to see that a Matt Corral possibly second round goes to Seattle.
Okay,
that's what I'm seeing, and he'll beat out Geno Smith for the starting position without a doubt.
Well, you're really down on Geno, aren't you?
I never liked Geno. And Geno was one of the most prolific passers in college football history coming out. Him and Miles Austin at West Virginia, they just lit up record books.
Yeah.
And then look where he is now.
Right, exactly. So let's switch gears. We got about 15 minutes left. Let's switch gears to the NBA playoffs because the first round is well deep in it. Most series have gone 3 games. No series have been won quite just yet. Some of the series have gone 5 games. In the Sixers case, that's the one I'm following. The Sixers are up 3-2 after being up 3-0. I got to admit that I'm scared because of the history of Doc Rivers blowing 3-0 leads. He's done this before a lot of times. My question to you is, what are some of the surprises, the letdowns, the injuries that have flip-flopped this, what we thought was going to happen has now, we're talking about Phoenix, we're talking about Golden State. Like, what stands out to you as some of the letdowns and surprises in the playoffs so far?
The letdowns the most are how much they hyped up the Nets, saying they were really going to do something this playoffs, and they were the favorites still to win it all. And then you go in and you get swept by the Celtics.
Not only that, but Ben Simmons wouldn't play.
He didn't even play. Nope.
Because of back soreness. Are you kidding me? Like, that makes me sick. That makes me sick to my stomach.
We got a possible chance that an 8 seed beats a 1 seed with Devin Booker not being able to play. He'll miss the rest of the series.
And again, my son couldn't agree more because I know we were talking about this. He's the one that got me into basketball. So, so I go to him when for questions when I have questions about basketball. And he said it's pretty sad how this year's NBA playoffs, and a lot of NBA playoffs for that matter, are decided by injuries. You can imagine what would have happened if Booker was healthy, or are the Sixers going to fall now because Embiid hurt his thumb, and there's lots going on. So I mean,
it's next man up, and the Bucks are proving that with Chris Middleton down. These other guys are stepping up and really solidifying that they can play without their second best player on the team. These role players are stepping up, and they're really scoring a bunch of points and helping that team.
Yeah, and I've been watching. I watched every Sixers game so far, but most of it. But I know last night's was getting me sick to my stomach, so I turned it off. But because I knew they were going to lose. I just knew they were going to lose. They just didn't have it. The wind was out of their sails. Maxey looked like shit after the first couple games where he looked like a god. James Harden is looking so damn old that he doesn't even belong there. Embiid hurt his thumb, so that's the excuse he uses at the end of every game. They get him up in the press conference, and he's like, well, I'm trying to play through it. I'm doing my best. Other guys have to man up, step up, like you said, blah, blah, blah. I want to blame.
I think it's really bothering him. I think it's really bothering him because he was coming in, scoring over 30-some a game. He won the scoring title. He was literally just eating teams alive. And it just doesn't seem to be that way in this series. So I think the injury is a little more than what he's letting it to be.
It'll right, and the doctors have said it's going to require surgery, but they're shooting him up with cortisones and whatever else, and letting him play through it. So, but I am scared. I gotta admit, as a Sixers fan, I am scared that they're going to be outed in the first round, and even if they do squeak by Toronto, whether it be in 6 games or 7 games, they're not beating the Miami Heat. They're not.
Well, we don't know. It's 3-1 in that series.
There's no way.
3-1 in that series against the Hawks, and Jimmy Buckets isn't playing tonight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't count the Hawks out. What did they make the conference finals last year? I mean,
yeah,
never
great.
count them out.
And guess who not eliminated the Sixers last year? The Hawks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. So
the only team that's impressing me right now is the Boston Celtics, the way they're playing right now. Their defense is playing lights out.
How does Golden State look?
Golden State looks good, but they're playing against an injured team. I mean, they're not healthy. None of these teams in the Western Conference are healthy.
Yeah.
And injuries play a good role in how you win a title. The Bucks proved that last year with all the injuries that the other teams had. The Bucks weren't the best team.
They capitalized on it.
But they capitalized on other teams not being healthy. And they ended up winning.
And that's what my son's saying. He loves the NBA regular season, lots of cool moments, lots of things happen. Some really good games. You have the Christmas tradition with all the games on Christmas. And then you have all these great marquee matchups throughout the season. You get to the playoffs where you're supposed to have the stars playing against each other. And half the league is hurt. and it happens every year. Like how do they? I don't know. How do they stop this from happening or at least cut it down?
You could manage the minutes during the year, but I mean, injuries happen. You go up for a layup, you land on somebody else's foot, you twist your ankle, you bump knees with somebody. I mean, it's basketball. People get hurt.
Embiid looked lost out there last night, man. He couldn't defend anything. He couldn't use that hand to swat down, like a lot of times where he swats down balls, and he just looked tentative, and nobody. James Harden didn't bail him out. Maxey didn't bail him out. Like, nobody bailed him out.
I think you got home court. I think you'd be able to win in 7.
So you're saying Toronto's going to win Thursday night?
You will win. What is it now? 2-2, right?
No, it's 3-2 Sixers.
Okay, so it's at Toronto. Yeah, I think they're going Game 7.
And Game 6 is in Toronto on Thursday, the same night as the draft. So guess what I'm watching? The draft.
Yeah.
Just saying.
The series I like the most is that right now I'm watching it as we speak, which is Memphis and Minnesota. I've watched every game, and
they seem to be more
definitely a series to watch
because they seem to be more evenly matched. And
it's evenly matched. You got 2 superstars going at it, and they're high scoring affairs too.
By the way, quick update: the Philadelphia Phillies are ahead 3-0 against Colorado. Should we update the score of the Cardinals game?
They choked last night. I didn't want anything to do with that.
They're playing right now.
Yeah, they're on now.
It's 0-0. Still in the first inning. They're playing the Mets. Go Cardinals. Yep. Go Cardinals, Jennifer. Go Cardinals.
Yeah, we gave up 5 runs last night in the 9th inning.
Is there a problem bullpen, or what do you think?
No, the Cardinals are fine. The Cardinals are one of the top teams in the conference.
You're saying the Mets are just not – the Mets are just not
– started out 9-5. I mean, that's still a good start. They had them ranked in the top 5 of all teams this year so far. I mean, you just got to win the division. I mean, you're going to take your lumps along the way. But how them Phillies start out? They don't look too good.
It's early.
Yeah.
It's early. No, I don't trust Girardi. I don't. I think when you have a lineup like that and you went out and got some decent bullpen guys, his decision-making is costing them games. Now, that game the other night with the umpire, Hernandez, okay, that's a totally different thing because the Phillies should have won that game. Those calls were ridiculous. He should be under investigation. Him and C.J. Buckner, but whatever. That umpire is the worst umpire in the league. And Brewers won 1-0, but even the Brewers bench was pissed off about his calls, his balls and strikes. So that opened up the debate to robot umpires. By the way, how do you feel about robot umpires?
No, I don't believe in it. But, I mean, you got to know these guys have been in the league a certain amount of years. They know these umpires. They should know their strike zones by now.
Right.
And a pitch that's that close, you have to swing.
He's been an umpire for 31 seasons, man.
That pitch was too close not to swing. I don't understand.
Either way, my point is that I think that it has to get worse before it gets better with the Phillies. I think they need to fire Girardi. But see if they start winning now. They won last night. They're ahead tonight. If they start winning and they climb back up to 500 where they're 10-10, okay, he's safe for another 10, 15, 20 games.
Yeah.
And then 20 games from now when they're 20 and 20, he's still safe because they're right in the middle of the pack. I mean, you can't – no, he's costing them games. With that fucking lineup and those pitchers that they brought in, they got a good closer. They got all the tools that you need. But who he plays on certain nights, who he puts out in defense, all these situational things that he does And the analytics bullshit that he pulls, because Anthony warned me about the fucking analytics with him. I'm sick of him. I want him gone. But if the Phillies start winning now, he's going to be around at least till the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's early yet. Anything could happen. I mean, some
the
teams
bats
better
will start heating up. I mean, Harper's already hurt. You know, it's annoying. You know, he's playing with a sore elbow or whatever. Gibson's not pitching very well. Wheeler's not 100%. Although he's looked good, he's not 100%, so I hope he gets better. Nola looked like shit in the beginning, but his last game he looked awesome. So hopefully he's turning a corner. Ranger Suarez sucks. The bullpen, I'm impressed with. I am so far. Alvarado, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Hader, Nelson, the closer they got, that Knebel, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So far, he's like 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 in saves. But again, like you said, bad start. They started out the first 16 games 6-10. Now they're 7-10. Now they're winning tonight at the moment in the fourth inning, 3-0. And the Rockies are a good team, so it's not like they're beating like the Oakland A's or something.
Yeah.
But you know, God forbid they can't beat the Florida Marlins or the Miami Marlins, right? Jeez, God forbid. But we'll see. It's early. I don't pay attention to the records. I pay attention to baseball. I'm watching as much of it as possible.
Yeah.
Because I love my Phillies. And I'm going to the game on May the 22nd with the wife. I'm going to see them up against the Dodgers. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
And then on June the 4th, I'm going with a buddy of mine to see them against the Angels. I get to see Ohtani and Trout.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
That'd be awesome.
So anyway, so I'm going to hit a few games this year and a few Iron Pigs games too, as we usually do. And we'll see what happens. Like I said, I usually don't pay attention to the record until like June. Because, I mean, you know, right now, you know, they could look like shit and then all of a sudden get hot. You win like 7 or 8 games in a row. All of a sudden you look great. That's the thing with baseball. It's streaky. You know, you go on 5-game winning streak. You go on 5-game winning streak, 5-game losing streak, 5-game winning streak, 5-game losing streak, or whatever. They have, by the way, the Phillies have only won 1 series all year.
And the Mets have won them all, right?
And that was against Oakland. The Mets have won them all, yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's about winning series, taking those 2 out of 3. The Phillies are playing a 4-game series with Colorado right now. So, they won game 1. They're in the lead right now with game 2. So, we'll see what happens. Meantime, man, I hope you enjoyed a draft on Thursday.
Yeah, man.
I hope everybody tunes into 2M1L Media. Subscribe, like, shares our YouTube channel. Chris and I and sometimes some others are back here each and every Tuesday to talk sports. Spitting with Spitters on tomorrow, his normal Wednesday. He's taking over Wednesdays. He's back. And then this Sunday on Around the Turnbuckle, we have the one and only Damian Wayne. So subscribe, like, share, man. You get Home Team Sports. You get Spitting with Spitter. You get Around the Turnbuckle. You get our preview shows. You get whatever specials we come up with, you get. You know, we're just here to talk sports, enjoy each other's company, and hopefully you guys get a laugh out of it once in a while. I know a lot of times when Anthony's on or Adrian's on or Phil's on, you never know what's going to come out of their mouths. And now we got Chris here. It's great. So from all of us at 2M1L Media and Home Team Sports, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys tune in, and I hope you guys tell your friends about us and check us out next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. I'll be here. Chris will be here. We'll be talking who our stupid teams picked.
Yeah.
Because it'll, you know, the Jets will probably screw it up, and the Eagles will probably screw it up, you know, and we'll see how close Phil's draft was you know. So anyway, you got anything else, my brother? We're gonna get out of here.
Nope. Just an update. It's 30-29 Memphis at the end of the first quarter.
There, he's watching NBA and I'm watching baseball. That's the great thing about April and May. You got baseball, you got NBA playoffs, and for some of you people, the NHL playoffs are about to start. So there you go. Yeah. You got that too. You got the Stanley Cup playoffs are about to get going. So there you go. We'll talk about that when the Stanley Cup rolls around, but I won't go into details. The first, second, third rounds, I can care less. But when we get down to the Stanley Cup, I always check it out. I check it out when it's the Stanley Cup. I like to see whatever team skates around and kisses the damn thing. And, yeah, it's always pretty cool. And Ovechkin's going for glory. He's shooting for Gretzky's numbers, and he can do it. He's only 36, so we'll see. But anyway, there might be a new great one. Who knows? In the meantime, I'm the Big Al Boski, and he's Chris Vant, and we are Home Team Sports, and we'll see you next Tuesday, folks.
I see you shiver with anticipation.